The reports had been haunting Jane for weeks: young girls attacked, their lives shattered, some even lost. The dirty streets of the city had become a hunting ground for a gang of ruthless boys. Jane, a seasoned police officer and martial arts expert, knew she couldn't stand by any longer. Armed with a concealed automatic weapon in her handbag, she decided to take matters into her own hands. The night was heavy with silence as Jane walked down the infamous route where the boys prowled. Shadows danced under flickering streetlights, and the air was thick with tension. She felt the weight of her decision but steeled herself. This was her moment. A wiry young boy emerged from the shadows, his face twisted with menace. "Your phone. Now," he demanded, his voice sharp and cold. Jane's calm demeanor didn't waver as she handed him her phone, her eyes scanning the darkness. She wasn't surprised when more figures materialized, bigger boys, their presence suffocating. They encircled her like predators closing in on prey. "What do you want?" Jane asked, her voice steady but laced with an edge. The leader, a towering figure with a scar running down his cheek, smirked. "You're coming with us," he said, gesturing toward an abandoned warehouse looming in the distance. To their astonishment, Jane nodded and followed without resistance. The warehouse was a cavernous, decaying structure, its walls covered in graffiti, and its floor littered with debris. The gang led her inside, their confidence growing with every step. 5 boys walked ahead, while 6 trailed behind, their laughter echoing ominously. Inside, the leader turned to Jane, his eyes gleaming with malice. "What else do you have for us?" he sneered, stepping closer. Jane's heart raced, but she remained composed. When he reached out to touch her hair, she acted. In a flash, Jane drew her weapon, the metallic click of the safety being released slicing through the air. "Nobody move," she commanded, her voice a thunderclap of authority. The boys froze, their bravado evaporating as fear took hold. Hands shot up in surrender, their eyes wide with panic. Jane kept her weapon trained on them as she reached for her radio. "This is Officer Jane. I need backup at the old warehouse on 5th Street. Suspects in custody," she reported, her voice unwavering. Minutes later, the sound of sirens pierced the night, and reinforcements stormed the warehouse. The boys were handcuffed and led away, their reign of terror finally brought to an end. Jane watched as they were loaded into police vans, a sense of justice washing over her. But as she stood there, the weight of the night settled on her shoulders. She knew this was just one battle in a war that was far from over. Yet, for the first time in weeks, she felt hope, a glimmer of light in the darkness.